In fact, Jeff was text. I've been texting with Jeff all along this thing, without getting into too many details about this Dolphins thing. So I'm definitely in the middle of that. I know what's going on there, and in fact, he texted me tonight. We're going to talk here in the next day or two. But again, but he, how can I say this? Jeff was a guy that he was in Albany, and I always believed in giving back to young coaches, to any coaches that, because the guys that influenced my life in the profession, they opened their doors. They talked football to me. They let me watch tape with them, talk about ideas. So I wanted to do that. So when I was at Pitt during the spring practice, high schools, as in Illinois, every state goes like the month of May, and all the college guys go out and do recruiting because the high schools are practicing then. I think Illinois now is like June. They moved it back, but so that's when the college coaches would come in. So he'd come into Pittsburgh, and he would go see high schools, and he wanted to come by to practice after he was done with his high schools. And I said, fine, come by and watch practice, sit in meetings. I don't care. You want to learn. Well, and like 2 days later, I'm going down to get a cup of coffee, and who's at the coffee machine is Jeff. And I said, "What are you doing here?" And he says, "Well, I was here this morning and just watching some tape, and I'm going to run over and see the high schools, and then I'll be back, Coach." Okay, good. Well, 2 days later, he's like the same thing. So it was crazy. It was that a defensive coach left my staff, and I walked onto the coffee machine, and I says, "Jeff Hafley, are you on the staff now? What are you doing here again?" And he says, "No, Coach, I'm just trying to learn." And I said, "Well, hell, do you want a job?" And he says, "I'd love a job." I said, "You're hired. You're the secondary coach." And that was it.
That's incredible.
God,
Yeah.
that's such a great story.
And then when I left Pitt, Greg Schiano called me, who worked for me at the Bears. You guys know the story with Greg. And Greg called me and said, I got two spots open. Who's your two best guys? And I said, Jeff Hafley and another coach who's now the offensive passing game coordinator of the Vikings, Brian Angelico. And Greg hired both of them and took them both with him. When he left and went to Tampa, he took them to Tampa with him. So I'm always in touch with Jeff. When he was at Ohio State, I'm doing Big Ten, so I'm watching his games. He'd call me, and I'd throw out some thoughts, and so we've stayed in touch. Just leave it at that.
How happy are you for guys like that end up making it and end up at the highest job, and a job that you had as the head coach of the Dolphins?
I told him about it. I said, now, keep in mind, I'm the second winningest coach behind Don Shula. So don't you get out there and do anything crazy, okay? But no, that's great. I hope he gets him going. In fact, I think and I say this humbly, people know, but I think they haven't won a playoff game since I've been there. So he's got a lot of good things that he can accomplish out in front of himself. So I'm all in. I'll be obviously talking to him a lot and helping any way I can. We'll see where that thing goes.
It's funny. Lawrence and I were having a conversation before you came on just about, is that what's still necessary in the coaching ranks to, especially when you're talking about turning around a franchise or a franchise that hasn't had a lot of success? Do you need to be spending every night in the office? Is the cadence of the season and the off season, how do you delegate your time these days? And is it necessary, do you think, to still do things that way in order to turn these franchises around?
Well, no, I do not. I do not, and I never did. He wasn't sleeping under his desk on my command. Okay, let's clear that up. In fact, he did. There was a bar in Pittsburgh that the guy that owned it down on the south side. He would. I could staff a bunch of my young coaches up there, and he had a couple apartments. He'd take care of them for me, but. Chupka's Tavern was the name of it, but still is. And so, no, but Jeff was in there early. I remember walking down the hall, and I would hear noises and open the door, and it'd be 6:30 in the morning, and there'd be, we weren't going to meet till 7 with the coaches, so. And he'd be in there with the freshmen at that time in college, and he would be talking to them, And the best quality he has is he's a great communicator. And so he'll do a great job here. They just got to find a damn quarterback, and get that thing solved down at Miami. I mean, he's got, and I told him, I said, you got work to do, and the quarterback thing in Miami is it's that way every place, Chicago, Pittsburgh. I get that part. But the quarterback thing at Miami is a little different cat to deal with because of Bob Greasy, Dan Marino, really Dan Marino, and everybody's compared to Dan Marino. And until just like, so it's it is what it is. I had Jay Fiedler, a kid from Dartmouth, who won like 75% of his games, 10 and a half wins a year, and it wasn't good enough for him. They still are looking for Dan Marino. So that's the biggest challenge that he's got.
Coach, you're looking good on TV, man. And I hate that the season ends for a lot of reasons, but you guys are having so much fun over at Channel 5. And I was enjoying watching those shows. And, Charles is a good friend of mine. So seeing you and him like really talk ball was excellent.
And Pat Manley,
absolutely, absolutely
contributor. No, Kevin Cross, the general manager over there, he's made a real commitment now to the sports and trying to, make it as good as he can be and make it the best in Chicago. Now, I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, and shout out to Alex Maragos. He did a nice job of hosting the show too.
He did. That was different. I wasn't sure. You got a news guy coming on there.
Yeah, but he's kind of a sports guy, really, though. That's the thing about Alex.
You're right. He played football and sports up at Loyola Academy up there at Wilmette.
Yeah, yeah. So I was happy to see you guys do work. I'd love to know, now that you've had a little bit of a break from it, one, what was it like for you to watch that Bears-Rams game? And the question I've been asking everyone this week, Coach, when Caleb makes that throw, what were you thinking in the moment?
What was I thinking in the moment? I was hoping the guy dropped the ball. That was my first thought, but I saw the route and, and I'm not going to get into who, how, or what. No. I think everybody's
not that throw, not the DJ Moore throw, the touchdown throw. That's the one I want to know what you were thinking when Cole Kmet comes down with that ball after Caleb is sprinting 20 yards the other way.
You know what? You can't make that stuff up. That's all I would say. And he's had one or two of those every game, and the Bears have come off that way. The guy's got phenomenal talent. And the crazy thing is, he said in his post game, we all heard it, that he knew that Kmet was in a good matchup situation size-wise with the defensive back. I mean, for him to put all that and compute all that fast is really a God-given talent. And, he was not on the run. I mean, the Rams did a great job of containing him. So it wasn't like he was rolling out to the right or rolling out to the left, and Kmet he had a free one-on-one throw. He was going backwards. They weren't letting him out of the pocket, and he still made that throw off his back foot. Just a fantastic play. I mean, you can't, like I say, you can't draw that up. You can't, guys will be talking about it, but that's not one that is going to be duplicated. Maybe never again. It's probably one of the five. I'd like to see the five greatest plays in Chicago Bear history, and that could be in the top five.
Yeah. That's got to be on it. That was just I talked to Lawrence about it, like bending the laws of physics for that to the trajectory of that ball to come down where it did. I'm curious though, because we heard from Ben Johnson this week, and he talked about how they're essentially starting from scratch in this next year. But realistically, is there something that can carry over from a season of defying expectations, surpassing expectations, laying the foundation that they did? Is there something that the Bears can take into next year that's going to help them?
Absolutely. I mean, to me, the most exciting thing is how they established the run game. And now I'm I say this all the time. I got fired for running the ball too much. So I'm a run guy, play action pass guy.
Love it.
And that's what won me national championships and Super Bowls. So that's just what I believe in. So Ben came in, and do you remember how crazy it was 2 years ago? We were having discussions about Caleb being able to take the snap under center. That there was a concern, the old coaching staff was talking about how we going to get this done, and it was insane to me. And because he had never done it. No, I mean, he was a shotgun guy all his career. So we established a running game. We established toughness. And I think that would be the foundation. And I think we established, I know we did, not think, we did establish we're going to play to the final whistle or the final minute of the ball game and have a chance to win if we stay in there. So a lot of those things that you need to establish year one, I think Ben got that done. And we got the nucleus of this team. I was looking at the free agents the other day. God, we don't have a whole lot of free agents. We really don't. And then we're going to have another draft. So Ryan Poles did a fabulous job. Free agency last year and draft. If you get four, and I'm going to say Monongai was starting at one point, and obviously Luther was starting, and you got Loveland and you got Ozzie at tackle. You got four rookies starting out of one draft class. That's unheard of.
What do you think the Bears need for them to continue on this trajectory that they're on?
They've got to get pass rush. We got to get a pass rush. And in my opinion, we got some great guys. I'd never take Booker out of the game, because he makes plays, run, pass, and obviously that's not going to happen. But we need one or two more pass rushers. We need a dominant pass rusher. And that would be the first priority for me. And a linebacker, our linebackers, I think, God, Edwards has been my favorite linebacker since he arrived at the Bears. It looks like he's probably lost a little bit of a step because of some of the injuries. And I don't know about any of the down the line guys. We probably need another good linebacker. And you can't get enough. That offensive line we got some young guys in there, obviously, but you're always looking for another good offensive lineman that is going to be a starter.
I was going to say, how much of a priority do you place on the left tackle position at this point for the Bears?
I'm not concerned at all. I mean, no, I think it's Ozzie ended up being the starter, and then obviously Theo was in there, and so we got some guys there. I'm not worried about that. And the left tackle position in the NFL and college is different today than it was 15 years ago. Maybe 10 years ago, because now there's so much shotgun passing that the ball's coming out so quick that it's more high percentage balls out as compared to before, where it was the play action and your quarterback sitting back there holding the ball, waiting for guys to come open. So the passing game has changed a little bit, which I think has taken a lot of pressure off of the left tackle position.
Coach, with the championship Sunday this weekend, and the Broncos seem to be in a little bit of an issue where they had Bo Nix, and Bo Nix wasn't, I don't think he was spectacular, but I thought he was really good this season in Sean Payton's system. To lose your quarterback and on the second to last play or whatever it was, and then have to go to the backup for the AFC title game, what do you think Sean's doing to get Jarrett Stidham ready?
Well, they got the top defense in the NFL, so you got that in your back pocket. They've got a good running game. He's probably looking at the running game a little bit more. But this Stidham kid, I remember I was doing college football when he was at Baylor and then Auburn. And this guy is a better player than anybody's given him credit for. The Patriots drafted him in the 4th round. And now how ironic is it that he's going to play the Patriots in the playoffs? So I think this guy can make enough plays. I really do. that they can win the game. So will they win the game? I don't know. I mean, who's the best team? I mean, Drake May, is a MVP candidate, so he's doing a lot of things. So, but I don't think it's going to be as drastic of a change. I really don't, as what most people think. What is the spread on that game? I haven't even seen it yet.
It's been changing from what we heard.
It was 4.5, and now it's 5.5 in favor of the Patriots, and now it's maybe starting to move back towards 4.5.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they get 3 for home to
No,
So,
but they're
I-
the road team. Like that's the.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. Oh, they're the road team. That's right. You are correct.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, there's I don't know. I don't see it that way. I would say that.
Their defense is really good, and we'll see if they end up competing. I'm looking forward to seeing Seattle's defense, Coach. I like their defense so much, and I love to see the best coaches go after it. And Sean McVay is clearly like an offensive genius, but that Seattle defense has made a lot of good offenses look terrible this year.
And you know what? They do not blitz. They're one of the least blitzing defenses in the NFL. So they're getting it with their 4 guys and multiple coverages. And I'll tell you what, Kenneth Walker III, people probably remember him from his Michigan State days. When Michigan State had the one big year about 4 years ago, when they won, 9, 10 games, whatever it was, he was the running back that transferred in there. And he was the guy that made the difference in that team. And now he looks fast, and so they got a good running game. And Darnold is playing. I mean, to me, and hey, we all wanted the Bears to be in there. Okay. But I think the 2 best teams in the NFC that I've been saying since the beginning are in the NFC Championship game. I thought Seattle, and I thought that the Rams. And the Rams, that wasn't easy conditions for those guys. We can say what we want, and it was, it was cold. It was nasty here in Chicago. So I think they're going to go up there. They split in the regular season, right? They won 1, they lost 1 against Seattle. They know this team. I think this Rams team will be a lot more explosive on offense than what they were against the Bears. I think they'll play better.
Coach, are you south of the ice storm that's coming?
Am I south of the ice storm? I just hope I don't get sunburned tomorrow. That's all I'm thinking about.
That's all I like
must
to hear.
be nice.
Coach,